I am here at United Recording, a studio founded in 1957 by Bill Putnam. Artists like Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Ray Charles, and many more have recorded here. Walking in this studio is an amazing experience. You come across a small museum filled with photographs, paintings, and gold and platinum records. Songs we have surely heard at some point in our lives. You also find the Ampex 8-channel console that Les Paul used for recording. Tom Camuso explained everything about the recording process.
Well, we'd say this is the first console because this would be the first thing that would have any bussing on it, because there were no multitracks. So that's the first Ampex multitrack. Before this, everything was essentially a mixer. You were just sort of mixing everything live. So you would be able to have a mixer where you could say, all right, I'm going to shoot these two things to channel 1, this to 2, and the rest to 3. But you'd have to do it all live. There was no rewinding and then going back. And then by the time this was built, the Beatles were the big thing, and he sort of was like, well, I'm going to get into more messing with this. 55 to 57. Look at every other console moving forward. It's all based on this, but he was doing things in crazy ways, so things started to change because they were like, well, that's stupid. I don't know why anyone would want to do it like that. But, so the way you got 8 inputs, these are your 3 buses. So it's an 8-channel, 3-bus mono console. These are your reverb sends, set in your chamber. And then you have basically Oct 1, Oct 2, that's the octopus, so that's your line, that's your mic. And these are your buses A, B, and C. So say like you had 3 channels and you wanted to bus those to A, this would go to B, and the rest go to C, right? So now you have A, B, and C, which are A, B, and C. So if I wanted these 3 things that I bust over to A to go to track 3, I do that. And that's how you do it. And there's only allows you to record 3 at a time because the heads will melt. We looked through LS's archive of music, and how he was recording most of his the hit songs was like disc to disc, where he would record to one machine, rewind it, play it back, record to another one. So he had the archive, never got rid of anything. So we had every iteration from, you know, we call them stems. So the first stem he would do would be just guitar and bass, then add vocals or whatever the order would be. So the fact that we had all that stuff, the idea was we'd put it all together, flip them out of phase and cancel them out using phase and all this stuff and create a multi-track, which didn't work because the tape machines were so old and they spun at different times. So these yellow tracks would be his original stems. So you would have like just one that's just the guitar and bass. So this would be what he would do first. And then he would rewind it, go back, and then you would hear the same thing, but now you'll see the vocal come in on this one.
If your lips should stray.
Once he finished this, he'd rewind it again and then add another vocal or another guitar, and he'd just keep going and going and going. And the problem with that is every time you rewind it and re-record to another one, you get this weird generation loss. So he would do it so many times that when you get to the end of a song, a lot of his songs didn't sound very good sonically because they were so much tape hiss and just generation loss. The idea with this was to try to figure out a way to recreate a clean multi-track. So the first thing I had to do was line up all the stuff. So we used this company in London called Cedar, and they helped me figure out a way to digitally get everything locked. These yellow ones now are what you just saw, but you can see they're all now lined up. So everything now is within a cycle of being tight to one another. We then started using AI stuff to try to demix each one. And now you see these blue ones represent what we pull out of it. So I can take that, and then I can get just the bass, and then I can get just the guitar. I can recreate a multi-track from the first time everything is introduced. So you get rid of all of that crazy tape stuff. So you can hear all that crunchiness, that's 20 generations of tape. And you can hear like everything is 3-part harmony. The guitars are harmony. Like, because he could do it, he did it. So there were so many back and forth, it just got worse, and the production is incredible, but the quality kept getting worse and worse. So the multi-track that we created, you can hear the difference.
Tell me, where do they go?
So now you could compress the bass and EQ the bass, and everything individually is really treated. And it's the first take of it, like the first generation. And this is basically a stripped down version of one vocal, one guitar. And when you hear the songs this way, you start to realize like, oh, these were really, really good songs, and you just were really paying attention to the production more so because he could do it. He was doing stuff no one could do. You didn't hear guitars that sounded like that.
Tell me, where do they go?
So it's a whole different vibe. So we're going to do a version of what we call the first takes as well, where it's more focused on the song than the production, you know?
I want to thank to my great friend John Krivit from Hey Audio Student for inviting me to this place, and especially the Les Paul Foundation. It was truly an incredible event, and we learned so much.
The mission that we've been working on with the Les Paul Audio Educators Advisory Group is really to make sure that professors are incorporating Les as an inventor and innovator into their program curriculums. And so we're very grateful for the work that you're doing. The studio, the Les Paul studio, is something that is a great learning experience. One of the things that comes up often when we have our meetings is the value of limiting students to be able to only record in a way that Les Paul would have, you know, with bouncing or with limited use of tracks, and maybe that's something that evokes creativity and new ideas.
If you think this video could be useful to a friend who might want to visit United Recording, don't hesitate to share it. Turn on notifications and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.